So we're going to be speed running some IEMs today, some popular ones from last year, and then of course all the ones that I have heard this year. And just started off, I already put some in there to kind of to give you guys like a frame of reference. For example, the Endgame would be like the Monarch Mark IIs, the Endgame worthy would be EJ07M, T2, Hexa, Wanar, EJ07, and then the Nope would be like the Tin T2 Mark II this year that came out this year. Not very good. But I mean, aside from that, let's just jump into it. Number one, Tantrum Origin. Okay, so the Origin is pretty good aside from the price. Like it's a clean, smooth listen. The tech is pretty good for one DD driver. I would still take the the T2s over it because the vocals are better than T2s, and it's a little bit more like unique in that sense. The staging is better as well, and then layering separation also slightly around the same, slightly better, but the Origin is just a very smooth, clean listen. It's a bit boring at times. But next we have the EM6L, and this would be good. I would take this over the Hexa because the Hexa is a little bit too clean, and it has a little bit like the peaks in the treble and the upper mids. And then of course the low end isn't as good as the EM6L, and overall the EM6L is also a bit smoother. So yeah, I mean EM6L is good IEM, good value, good stuff from SimGod. And then next we have the EA500LM, which I would also put it in as good, depending on your unit, because some of the units are like just like too bright. Because like I was looking at the graphs, and my unit is pretty good actually, but like Timmy's graph is just like super bright. So depending on that, I would say like I would take it over the EM6L because my EM6L actually graphs brighter than my LM, but on average I would say most people would be better off with the EM6L because QC wise it's probably smoother and not as bright. Then we have the original EA500, I think, right? Yes. Okay. I think it's above average, but I wouldn't say it's as good as the Hexa because the base is better than the Hexa, but the Hexa has like more detail and like better separation. But you know what? I'll put it right behind the Hexa because it is above average. It's better than the Waner, obviously, right? So yeah, I mean, it goes in a good. And the next QE is Melody. Also, I would take the Melody over the. Ooh, would I take it over the Hexa? Because the Melody is very V-shaped. It's very like a fun sound, and the Hexa is just like neutral, clean, right? It is a little bit sharp at times, the Melody, but I think I'll take it over the Hexa because it does have that like fun factor, and tech-wise they're pretty similar, and it doesn't have that much like BA bass or like planar bass. It's not that soft. The bass is actually pretty good. The only issue is that the treble is a bit sharp, but I think I would still take like the more fun factor over the Hexa. Next, the Nova. Okay, sorry about the pictures, but yeah, it is what it is. Is it better than EM6L? Yes, I would say the Nova is better than. What is it better than the Origin? Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna put it behind the Origin because it is better than the EM6L. It's not as sharp as the not sharp, not as bright as the EM6L, and it's also very like clean and smooth. Yeah, it's basically Harman 2019, right? And it's pretty good. Would I take it over the Origin? Maybe, because it is better value than the Origin. You know what? I'll put it over the Origin because it is better value and it's a better all-rounder, while the Origin is just like clean and it does lack bass on the Origin. So you know what? I'll put it in gray for now. We can change it up later. But next is CKLVX. Ooh, these are my favorite under $200. Even right now, I think it's so good. As an all-rounder, the Nova is better. Like it's just like more complete in the upper mids. It's not as peaky in the treble, but like on the right song, on the right genre, the CKLVX is like, it has that like quote unquote special sauce. It's very dreamy, but it's also like full sounding, and it's also airy, but it's not too sharp depending on the song. So I'm gonna put it ahead of the Nova and below the T2s. I think that checks out. The Hiatus MP145. Okay, these are good, but they got silently retuned. I mean, it's still good after the retune. I would put it over the Origins actually because it is technically better than the Origin, and it's not as boring as the Origin. And it's cheaper than the Origin. So yeah, we'll put it here. Is it better than Nova? Ooh, I don't know. I think I'll put it slightly behind the Nova. It's still really good. Next, 02 is average. I don't know what to say. It's like it's $20. It's a Bassy set. The Waner is better. This just has more bass. I would take the Waner over it because the vocals on the Waner is better. It's cleaner. But if you do want like a Bassy warm set, 02 is still it's fine. It's average. It's starter set, right? Next we have the S15, and the S15 is a better version of the Origin. Is it better than the Origin? Maybe. You know what? since it is more expensive than the Origin, I'll put it behind the Origin. These two are very similar because the Origin is also a neutral clean, and this is also like a neutral clean. And this is DD, this is like plain art, right? So you know what? I'll put it behind the Origin because it is more expensive than the Origin. And then this is Singolo. Nope. This is overpriced. Just get the red. Like, just get the red, guys. The tech doesn't work because it's not scooped enough for the subwoofer sound. It's still good as like a base set, but it's just overpriced. Like, I don't know what to say. It's just overpriced. Okay, maybe not like maybe it's not horrible, like nope, but I'll put it average because you know it is better than Iwana in the base, but it's just overpriced, bro. The tech doesn't work. It's not revolutionary. It doesn't work. It doesn't have that scoop. Not subwoofery. Anyways, EW200, my unit at least, my first unit, the one that I have right now, is better like than the Singolos. They're just like, it's more fun. The base is probably on the same level, and it's cheaper. It's like $40, right? But some of the units do like are too bright. I don't know if it's like a symbol thing because it doesn't happen in the EM6L, so maybe it's just like an EW200, like EA500LM, you know, kind of thing. But some of the units are a little bit too bright, so there's like unit variance, but it is cheaper than the like the Singolos. So you know what, I'm gonna put it ahead of the Singolos. Next we have the Shozi P20s. These are my favorite planars because they're just so like fun. Like they have that special sauce. The treble is very like sparkly, airy, but it's not sharp because the upper mids are cut down. So it's like the balance is good, as well as like the mid bass, and the overall low end is very punchy, impactful, textured. Gives you that like warm but like still like lively, sparkly feeling. So it's a very like you know, very unique set. But yeah, I'll take these over the MP145, even though the MP145s are like a better all-rounder, right? They're just like the graph is just like more all-rounder, right? But I mean, yeah, RDR2, average. I mean, I'm gonna put this over the EW200 because the QC is not as like bright. You know, the deviation isn't as like, you know, different. So, and it's a cleaner, smoother sound than the EW200, but the EW200 is just more energetic, slightly more V-shape. You know, it's got the imaging sharper. You know, like resolution wise, they're around the same. R3 is like a warmer version of. It's like a warm bassy set. I don't know. I would put this over the Singolo. The Singolo is just like, Singolo is just not it. I don't know. But depending on my like the library, like if you have a lot of hip hop, rock, you know, you like a warm bassy sound, these would be like better than the R2 and the EW200. I would put this like overall, you know what? I would put this slightly below the EW200. T10s, these are great. Value champ, the detail is amazing. Like if you find them on sale for like $50-$60, great value. I would put these above the Hexa and above the Melodies, but slightly behind the EA500LM because the timbres, you know, it's plain on timbre. The bass is a bit light, and then the treble is also a little bit too light, a little bit too sharp, sizzly at times. That's why I prefer the LM better, even though the like again unit variations on the LM and the EW200. Next, we have the May. The May is better than the Singolo for sure. Is it as good as the EW? No, it's not. No, I'm gonna put it like slightly behind these. It just sounds kind of boring. I don't know. It sounds it's warm, boring, but the R3 is like warm but fun. So, and it's cheaper than the May. So I'll take the R3 over the May, but it's better than the Singolos at least. Chopin. All right, Chopin's pretty good. Better than the Novas. Not as good as the CKLVX because the treble extension is a little bit like funner on the Chopins. It feels a little bit more like airier. Stage is a little bit better. So I will put it over better than the Novas. But the CKLVX is just more special to me. You know, like, you know, technical wise, these two, the Chopin and the Novas are better. But tuning wise, I like the T2s and the CKLVX better. Next, we have the Quintet. So similar story. Quintet, very good resolution, better than the Novas and the Chopin. A little bit like metallic timbre, but you know, it's a good all-rounder, but you know, it's not as unique as the CKLVX or the T2s. And then the Dusk. All right, the picture is a bit cut, but I'm gonna put it right here because CKLVX tuning wise, I like it more. It's fuller sounding. The vocals feel more complete because there's more air to the like the treble, and then the end notes, the extension is like a little bit airier. It's not as boring as the Dusk. The Dusk is still a good IEM. You know, it's still like it's great technically, like based off the tier list. It's great, right? It's a bit boring, especially my unit had like channel imbalance and I had like upper mids cut, so that makes it very boring. Maybe if your unit like graphs differently, maybe you would probably put this like at the top of great, right? Or maybe even endgame worthy for K-pop, J-pop. But my unit, going off of my unit, was the upper mids cut and the channel imbalance. It's not as good as the CKLVX tuning wise. Like technical performance wise, definitely like same level as the quintet, but like very good resolution, very good separation, but just not as good tuning wise as the other two. This is the single tress. I'll put this above the dusk because they do the same thing, but the single tress is just it's just cheaper and the bass slams a little bit harder. The details are a little bit better on the dusk, but like it's $100 cheaper and it's super close, right? And the fit is better on the single chest for me personally because it's smaller. That's because it's pretty chunky, like the thickness is pretty big. It's a big boy. And then you also have all of the issues with DSP, the EQ stuff, and then the QC. So I'm gonna put this slightly above it, but it could be either way, right? Like it doesn't matter. It could be either way. I do like this more than the Chopin and Nova as the all-rounder because it does do the upper mids cut. Sometimes the upper mids are a little bit too bright on the Chopin and the Nova and the Quintet for me, so that's why they're above it. And dusk wise, you know what, I'll put the dusk above it. Why not? Storm, okay, this is Endgame. This is Endgame of Endgame. Like it doesn't get more Endgame than the Storm. This thing is the best IEM I've heard. Like just period. Okay, maybe not vocals, because vocals there could be an argument made for the RS5, the Diva, the Monarch Mark IIs, because the Storm isn't necessarily a vocal centric set. Everywhere else, like separation, imaging, staging, timbre, texture, that would be Endgame. Nothing beats it. But vocal wise, there's some IEMs that are better vocal wise, but it is top of the end game for sure. HBB Xuanyu, these are pretty good. These are better than the Hexa, better than the melodies. Basically, this is just a smoother version of the Hexa. They graph very similar, but just smoother and better. Like this, I would put it above the T10 because T10 has the timbre issues. Not the issues, but like, you know, it's slightly planar timbre. And this just sounds more like correct, but the LM, my unit at least, sounds better in my opinion. It's just like more fun and resolution is better as well. So yeah, you know, it's a good IEM. It's a good like $80, like if you want like a clean all-rounder sound, these are pretty good. Next we have the Quartet, maybe above the original EA 500, but it is very bass centric. All right, so the Shinko is really good. Endgame bass set for most people. It did get a retune though, so actually I don't know if it's a retune, but Timmy's unit looked very different than mine, so I don't know what they're doing. But going based off my unit, which is warm, bassy, I like it better than this. Definitely, if you're a bass head, you like hip hop, rock, you know, rap. These are it. The Shinko's Endgame for most people. You know what? I'll put it here because it is Endgame worthy for bass heads, or not bass heads, but like if you want a warm bassy sound. You know what? I'll put it back here. It's fine. I like it more than the Dusk because the Dusk is just a little bit boring sometimes. Okay, the Symphonium Titan. These are definitely Endgame worthy, I would say, because it's not quite an all-rounder like the Monarch Mark IIs. But if you're looking for like a bass set that does everything well, you know, you can still hear the vocals, you can still hear the treble detail, then the Titans are very, very good. Since I like the vocals and the staging on the EJ07Ms better, I'm gonna put it slightly below it. And then next we have the T5S, the tin. These are a bassy set like the Legatos. Bass wise, if you just want bass, it's a very good bass set, but like these would be better all-rounders, but this is a very good bass set. The F1 Pros, okay, and a planar. These are the same as the T10 basically. I think it's just a little bit more like fun, a little bit funner than the T10s, but resolution wise are the same. Araya 2, I want to put it in no, but it's not like horrible sounding. It's just the price isn't that good. It's like the same level as the EW200, but it's just pricier. The unit variance is better though. It's not as sharp, so maybe I'll put it above that because of that. Tech wise, they're like the same. The drivers are pretty much the same, but you do get better accessories in the case. So you know what, I'll put it here because of the QC and the better accessory and case. Not as deviant and bright as the EW200. You know, I'll put it behind the RDR2 because the RDR2 does basically the same thing as the RDR2 but cheaper. So, and then True 2 is definitely average. It sounds similar as the 02, but it fits better than me, so I'm gonna put it above that. It's like a bass, slightly bassy, warm, not as clean as the 1Rs, so that's why the 1Rs are above it, but you know, it's a starter set, right? And then next we have the HBB Heydays, which is pretty good. I'll put the same tier, maybe above the, it's like a little bit different than the other planars because it's a little bit more like upper mids. It's cleaner sounding than the other planars. It's got a planar timbre, but it is more technical than the Xuanyu, so I'll put it above it for now. Blessing 3, pretty I want to say it's not mid, but it's good. You know, it's good. It's not as good as the Nova. Is it good as Nova? No, I don't think it's as good as the Novas. Like technical performance wise, it is like probably better than all of these, right? Its technical performance would be at the top. But if you're taking into account tuning, which is like neutral, bright, it's a bit sharp. The 6K and the treble is a bit much. A bit sounds a bit thin. I don't know. It's somewhere here. It's somewhere here. I'll put it here. Magic 1, it's a warm, like smooth, warm sound. Inoffensive. It doesn't really stand out too much. I'll put it here because it is still good, but it's not revolutionary. I don't think it's revolutionary. Maybe for the tech that they're using, but HPP Hades, this is a niche set. Super bass head, no treble, no upper mids, just bass in your face. If you want that like car shaking bass feeling, these are it. Hype 2, it's another all-rounder like all of these. But the bass is better than all of these because it has the isobaric bass. So I'm gonna put it here, but it's slightly behind single treads because single treads is cheaper and it pretty much does the same thing. And this is a full P8, I think. So neutral flat. This is a niche set. Neutral flat, very good. Like if I were to just rank it, it would probably be somewhere here. Like probably be here if I were to rank it. But it is a niche. You know what? I'll just put it here. It's a niche set because it's neutral and it's flat, but it's also like resolution is good. You hear the treble. It's very clean. Only issue is that the staging can be a bit flat. The imaging is not as good, right? But tuning wise, it's pretty unique. So I'll put it here. This is the Performer 5 Bassy balanced Bassy set, sub boost Bassy set. Is it better as the EM6L? I don't think it's better EM6L, but I need to revisit this, but I'll put it here for now. Another 4. Clean sound, can be a bit sharp sometimes. It is a LBA, it's not an LBA, it's a hybrid set. You know what, I'll put it here for now. Sunburst Aurora, very niche set. Yeah, this is a niche set. Normally this probably go maybe like here. It's a little bit peaky sometimes, not smooth. So like, you know, I'll put it in niche. This is a niche set for sure. It does have that like sparkly imaging, so it is a niche set. Next we have the Hype 4. These are better than Dusk. Problem with the Dusk is that it doesn't have enough bass and doesn't have enough upper mids to be fun and like all-rounded. But the Hype 4 does have the bass, but it doesn't get over bloated because it fixes itself back at like 200 hertz. So it's still like the Dusk, but it's just like funner. Just like a funner version of the Dusk. You know, this is actually endgame worthy. I would say this is probably endgame worthy because if you just want an all-rounder, these are like pretty good. Slightly behind the I don't know. I would say they're around the same as the EJO 7M, so it's very good. And then we have the EPZ Q1 Pros, which is a better version of the 7Hz Zero. I do prefer the clean sound more than the bassy, just straight up bass of the 02s. These are, you know, I'll put this above it because it is like technically a lot better than these, so I'll put it here. Maybe even above the Maze, you know, I'll put it here. Okay, fine. This is either the Delcy or the Clanar. This is the Delcy. Okay, so Delcy, warm bassy sound. Depending on the unit, again, depending on the unit EW200, it could be either here or here. The Delcy and the R1 is very similar, so I'll just put it here. Monarch Mark 3's endgame for sure. I would put this below the Mark 2's though. They're just cleaner. The vocal is more vocal centric. It's, in my opinion, it works better for my library. But the Mark 3's does have better bass, and it would be the better all-rounder direct upgrade to the Hype 4's. P1 Max 2, these are pretty good. These I would say as another all-rounder, probably, yeah, I'll put above the LM because based off my LM, I do like my LM better than the P1 Max 2. I'm gonna go off of like the other LMs, which is more bright, and if it is more bright, then the P1 Max 2 is gonna be better in that regards. But I do like it better than all the other planars because it does the upper mids cut, and it's very good planar. Next is the Canino Verdani. These are pretty good. I would say the plating alone is endgame. Like aesthetically, these are beautiful. But not as good as the Monarchs, I would say. But is it better than EJO 7? You know what? Maybe it's the top of endgame. Prestige LGD though, definitely endgame. These are better than the Mark 2, Mark 3s. More airy, more special. I still like the Mark 2s better because it is more clean with the vocals. But if we're going off of my Mark 3s, which are like a lot, like tuned very different. I don't know why, but my Mark 3s, I would put it like probably above the LTDs, but most people LTDs would be better. Like I don't know why, I'm just getting like lucky and unlucky with the QC, but it is what it is. Condenser 12, these are definitely endgame. I like these better than the Mark 2s. The vocals are probably one of the best endgame vocal sets. It's very airy, very like full sounding at the same time. Stage is big, lots of vocal details, and overall just it's got that special sauce. It's like a better version of the LTD for like twice the price, right? Okay, Clinical Red. So these are just a better version of the Singolos. I'll put it above the May because the May, the Red has like different tuning switch, not switches, the tuning, the ohm adapters. So I'll put that above it because of that. And it's a good budget set. Kyrie's Orchestra Light, great vocal set, clean. It does the clean sound better than all of these, I would say. Yeah, I'll put it here because the vocal wise is very clean. This is the R3. R3 is just like a worse version of the R1. So put it here. Same bassy sound, but the driver is just not as good. The Sleevo 4 L41 something like that. And this is another all rounder. But I would say the Nova is a better all rounder. And the MP145 as well. Actually, no, top of good. Top of good. Top of good sounds great. And then we have the Kanira Lokis, which are endgame sets. Super clean, well done treble. Better version of the Vadani, better staging as well. Yeah, you know what? That's about right. That's about right. Because it is technically better, and the sound wise, they're both very clean and has like vocal forward presentation. So I'll put it there for now. Crimson endgame set, very energetic V shape, not V shape, but like energetic U shape. Can be spicy at times, so a bit spicy to me when I demoed it. So that's why it goes below the Mark 3s, because the Mark 3s are better all rounder. But these are a very fun set as well, like as an endgame. And then Helios SC, definitely endgame for treble. I would put this like above the Mark. It's above the Mark 3s. Like treble wise, it is above the Mark 3s, but the Mark 3s does the bass and the mid range better. So so in that regards, I'll put it above the Crimson, because the Crimson is a little bit shy for me, and this is just like airy and smooth. And I am losing my voice. Oh god. So next we have the EA 1000s, and I do like the EA 1000s better than all of these. Maybe a little bit better than the LM because it does have that like sparkly, quote unquote special sauce to it. I'll put it slightly above it because it is still better in my opinion. And then the Sleevo, actually, I think it's a bit too high. Sleevo is probably better than Heyday. Yeah, you know what? It's better than Heyday. Yeah, this sounds about right. Then we have the Planar, which is just another Planar. The Planar is basically sounds very similar as the from Pro and the T10s, so I'm just gonna put it there. Next we have the Top. The Top is definitely endgame worthy, just similar like the Hype Force, but like more bright. Is it as good as the EJ07M? I would say it is. Slightly better tech wise, but it does get a little bit bright sometimes, and the bass can be a little bit like boomy. It's either above or below the Hype Force, but tech wise it is slightly better than the Hype Force, but I do like the tuning of the Hype Force better, so I'm gonna put that above the top. We have the Galileo, which is a good all-rounder, not necessarily all-rounder, good clean vocal set. Actually no. Sorry, Timmy. I do like the Planars a little bit better. It's above the melody. It's a bit. I'll put it around the same as the Hexa for now. And then we have these 7 acoustic supernovas, which are very good endgame worthy IEMs. Probably the best out of all these. Very smooth. The vocals are not that great though, because it is like pushback. Can't really hear it, but it's very smooth in the treble. I would take this over the usual 7Ms and the Hype 4 probably. So yeah, you know what? That's a pretty good spot. SA6 Mark II. These are great, but it's the vocals are just, there's no vocals. I'm gonna put this above the P8 because the P8 also has like a cut in the vocals. But this is better in the staging and the details, so I'll put this above the P8s. But tuning wise, it's not as like enjoyable to me as the T2s and the CKLVX. All right, Hype 10s are pretty good. They're better than the Hype 4s. Just like objectively, that's better. It's more treble. It feels more open, a little bit more detailed. I would say it's better than the EJ07M as well, and it's probably better than the 7 Acoustic Supernova. But as an all-rounder, it is better in the bass, the vocals, the treble still goes to the Nova, but the bass, the vocals goes to the Hype 10s. Now, as for the Da Vinci, I have not heard this yet. As the day of recording, it's not out yet. But my guess would probably be around the same level as the Dusk and the Cinco Tres, like based off the graph. I'll put the Da Vinci, my guess for the Da Vinci is here. And then the Full Performer 3, I think. Okay, imagine this as the Performer 3. My guess is that it's probably going to be around the same level as the Performer 5. Probably better than the Hexa and all this stuff. So I'm going to say below the Performer 5 for the Explorer 3 or the Performer 3, whatever they want to call it. But yeah, there's a list. A lot of IEMs, actually, now that I think about it. But there's going to be more coming out, so I'll probably do another one near the end of the year. Let me know your favorite so far this year, and see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Jeff Young, Rorax Cat, Dom Q, Star Buccaneers, Joel Pink, Discall Scaldus, B_Urac, Mystic Spoon Attack, Oh Really, Walker Standard, User, Ernest, Contain Guava Juice Gain, Patrick, Bell Cell Kel, Rosa the Kelf, Perry Jat, Polly, Mr. Gorillas, Anto-Risto, Gis Sang Young, Tomat Pafrache, Ed, Harry, Christopher, Federico, Name, and Henry. Thank you guys so much for the support.